Hey guys, welcome to SNE's Garage. Today we're going to be here again with our 2021 Camry TRD. As promised, we're going to be taking it on a ride, showing you guys what it's all about. Now before we go, I did want to reiterate some facts about the suspension and the wheels and the brakes that I mentioned in a couple of other videos. Just so you have a feeling of why this car drives the way it drives. So first and foremost, the 19-inch TRD wheels are about 3 inches lighter than the wheels you would find on the XSE, and they do that for several reasons. Number one is unsprung weight. Less unsprung weight means a quicker response. It's easier for the engine, and the transmission to get the tires spinning because there's less mass for them to spin, and it just makes the car, a little bit more agile. Our rotors are 0.9 inches bigger than on the regular Camry, and we have 2 piston calipers. I believe these are the brakes out of a Toyota Highlander. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've been told. And the rear brakes, I believe, are unchanged. They're just solid, not vented rotors with red calipers. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention. My trunk is probably a little bit messy right now, but it's worth popping to show you this. If I could find the release. It's in a tricky spot. There she is. Now, in the 2021 and the 2020 TRD, you do not have 60/40 folding rear seats. And they also do that for a reason. There's a V-brace in the back of this car that tightens the whole chassis up. And along with that, they did lowering springs. This car sits about a ½ inch lower than the XSE LE and XLE, and they also stiffened up the front and rear suspension with anti-roll bars, which is pretty wild. They're 44% stiffer in the front and 67% stiffer in the rear. So this thing, when you take it on turns, it's tight. So let's get in it. Let's fire it up. Let's go for a ride. Alright, so here we are in the pilot seat of the 2021 Camry TRD, and it does have a TRD catback exhaust, as you heard just previously to me talking on a cold start, which it's not unforgiving, it's not ridiculously loud, but it does drone a little bit. The car seems like it is very, very well put together. I have no real rattles or creaks that aren't induced by me throwing stuff in the cup holders or the cubbies. The stereo isn't the best, but it's not the worst. It's adequate, for lack of a better word. You're not going to turn this thing up and be like, wow, that sounds great, but you're also not going to be disappointed in it. This is the base stereo. I know you can get an upgraded one, but it wasn't worth it to me, and number two, they didn't have one with it. Now, if you do get the upgraded stereo, you do get the Toyota Care remote start and remote lock and unlock features. On this car, I don't have that. But the reason I'm taking you on this road, this is called the Stafford Forge, and there's a lot of expansion joints, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys the way the car reacts on this road, because listen, this car isn't for everyone. If you want a soft, cushy, plush ride out of your daily driver, don't buy this car, because it has a suspension that's made to be stiffer. We're going to get up to about 55, 60 miles an hour here, and I'm going to start hitting some of these bumps. And I mean, I don't mind it. I like a stiff suspension, but certain people just really aren't going to like this car. So if you're seriously in the market for one, take it on a good drive. Put it in some different situations. You want to take it down a rough road and see how the suspension reacts. Because listen, it's not break your back stiff, but it's stiff. I mean, you can see I'm kind of bouncing around here on this road, and it's just because the car has a stiff suspension. It's driving the way it's supposed to. So make sure you go out, drive an XLE, drive an XSE, and then drive the TRD, and just make sure that it's what you want. This is definitely what I wanted. I went out and I drove an XLE. I drove an XSE, and I like the way this car handles. It's very nimble. You can toss it around, and it just it reacts the way you would expect a nicer sports car or sports sedan to react. I wouldn't call this a full-fledged sports sedan, but it's definitely an entry-level sports sedan, and you're getting a great value for the $34,000 MSRP. And that's my opinion. So we're gonna get out on this this road here. This is 539, and this road's a little bit more forgiving. It's recently paved. So let's make this left. And right now I have it in normal mode. I'm gonna hit it real quick. And we're at 60. Now, I don't know if you guys hear it on the camera, but you do hear that TRD catback. Like I said, it's not overwhelming, but it does sound, it's nice. A little drony on the highway, but it's not unforgiving. If you look under the car at the mufflers, they actually have two Helmholtz resonators at the end of each muffler to try to reduce that drone. So you can tell it was a well thought out system. It's just made to make the car seem a little bit more sporty, but not unbearable, and that's really what it is. You hear it, and again, that's what I wanted. People were asking me if I was going to do a resonator delete or something of the sort to get a little more, sound out of it, but I just don't think that I'm going to, because I like the way it sounds, and this is what I wanted out of a car right out of the box. If I would have bought an XSE or an XLE, hang on, let's hit it real quick. If I would have bought an XSE or an XLE, those are things I would have had to do. I would have had to put an exhaust on it. I would have wanted to hear it a little bit. I would have had to stiffen the suspension up and lower it, a half inch or an inch. That's what I would have wanted. I would have had to put different wheels on it, because it's what I would have wanted. But this car, right out of the box, came with everything I wanted. It's excuse me, it's even got a nice little ground effects kit, which really, like I said, right out of the box, I don't have to do anything to this car. Down the road, I'm probably going to do a tune, and I'm probably going to do a cold air intake to get a little bit more of a growl out of the engine. But that's it. I'm not going to touch the suspension. I'm not going to change the wheels. I might put a set of summer tires on it when it needs tires, because I'm not going to drive this car in the dead of winter when it's snowing. It's going to sit in the garage, and I'm going to drive my diesel truck. So for me, having a second vehicle to drive when the weather's not good, this is really the perfect daily driver. Because like I said, it does everything I want. So well, look, we got a horse right here. We're out in West Creek, New Jersey. It's a little country type town right off the bay, kind of. I keep my boat down in the dock down the road, and it's nice because you got the woods, and then you got the bay right down the street. You got people with horses, you got people with quads. If you look at some of my other videos, I had a side-by-side. I actually sold that to get this car. And yeah, now one other thing I wanted to show you guys is Toyota's, I don't even know what they call it. It's like the lane keep assist and lane centering assist. And the car will more or less steer itself to keep you centered in your lane. And if you come out of your lane, it'll yell at you. So let me see. See, the car's, I'm not even on the steering wheel right now. This is the car. Look, my hands are off the wheel, and the car's steering itself. And then it'll kind of yell at you, which is pretty cool. Now, it does have laser cruise control, which is also pretty neat. I was fooling around with that the other day. There's no cars like in front of me or anything, so it's not like I can show you. But it actually brings the car to a complete stop if the car in front of you stops, and then it'll say, hey, hit the accelerator to resume. And it was pretty wild, but it's about quarter throttle, half throttle here. The transmission shifts very crisp, it's very smooth. If you slap it over into sport mode, it'll dynamic rev match when you use the paddles, which I think is pretty cool too. But yeah, let's hit it. I'm going to turn traction control off, which is right over here somewhere. I don't even remember where traction control is on this car right now. There it is right here. We're going to turn traction control off. We're going to put it in sport mode, which changes gear shifts, throttle response, and things like that. And we're going to punch it right after I get through here, because it's a little slick here. So let me just come right through. I'm going to stop. We're going to punch it. Make sure that's still off. Yeah, it's off, okay. it'll just blow the front tires right off the car. Because this is a pretty big V6 for this car. It's 301 horsepower. I believe it's 267 pound-feet of torque. So she's got some oomph, and you're asking a lot out of these 235 series all-season tires. So, like I said, I'm probably going to put a set of summer tires on this thing for a little bit of traction. I'm impartial to Bridgestone. I like their lineup. This car's got all-season Michelins on it. But I'm sure if I put a set of Potenzas on this thing, some summer, Potenzas, that it would be an awesome upgrade to the car. Now, what's pretty cool, you'll notice, the car is telling me what the speed limit is on this road. We have a camera up here that does our lane keep assist and our lane center assist. And whenever you pass a sign, that camera reads the sign and throws the speed limit, or if there's a yield sign, it'll tell you to yield. Stop sign. It's pretty cool that Toyota thought to do that. So I'm going to make a right up here, and we're going to go down a road that has a different speed limit. This one should be a 25 here. And let's see if we can't get that to work, because I think it's pretty neat. So this is my house. We're passing here. So right there's us. And let's see. We're going to come up to this road here. We're going to make this right. This is either a 35 or a 25, so if this ain't it, yeah, this is 35, so I got to go to a different road. Bear with me. Give you a chance to hear that TRD catback. It sounds pretty good. Watch out, little squirrel. There we go. Okay, we're good. Certain signs it won't recognize, like that one was a deaf child sign. It's not going to pick that one up, because obviously that's kind of like an oddball sign. I'm sure Toyota didn't think, hey, maybe we should warn people when there's deaf children in the road. So that sign it doesn't work on, but it will work on speed limit signs. I've seen it work on yield signs, and I believe I've seen it work on stop signs too, which is, like I said, I think it's pretty neat. So let's come up here. We're going to make this right, and then we're going to make another quick right. Okay, so this road's a 40 mile an hour speed limit. So if you watch my cluster, you're going to see it pop up 40 miles an hour. And you'll notice, if you drive one of these, it's not going to pop up until after you pass a sign. So it's that camera up here pointing out towards the road, reading the sign. Now see, there's a stop sign behind the 40 mile an hour sign, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they put it behind it, but that's just the way it is. So now we're on this road. I believe this is a 25. So let's see if we pass a speed limit sign. There's one behind me, but it's on the other end of the road, so we might not see one here. But yeah, you guys get the point. It's a pretty cool feature. And I believe if you set the cruise control to the speed limit, the lane keep and center assist automatically turn themselves on, and you basically don't really have to do anything. The car will match the car in front of you up to the speed limit that you set it at, and it'll bring you to a stop if they stop, and then to restart you just kind of tap your accelerator pedal, and the car kind of takes over, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna make this right. We're gonna pull right back into our driveway, and that's gonna be our video. So please like, share, subscribe. All your views, all your likes and subscribes, they are greatly appreciated. They help the channel out greatly. This channel's grown a lot in the past 2 or 3 months, and that's all because of you guys liking, sharing, and subscribing. So like I said, thank you so much for that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.